technologies that I believe that would perhaps change how we live over, maybe I would say over the next 5 or maximum 10 years, because technology has a very short life, and we keep on developing new technologies. Today there will not be technologies on the table which perhaps will be developed over the next 2 years, and maybe in the next 10 years it would be a completely different scenario. So what we currently have on the table that is currently under research and development, and especially some of those that have already started making a major impact in our life, are typically the technologies that I would focus on in today's talk. The first one, of course, there are going to be no prizes for that. Everybody would know what that is. And that is already starting to make a big difference, and that is what we generally know as AI and artificial intelligence. And the biggest, of course, that you see, which basically is the machine learning, all these terminologies are concurrently used: AI, machine learning, deep learning. So artificial intelligence, as the word indicates, is trying to replicate the human mind and think like a human. And that is also going into more and more advanced stages. But if you look at machine learning, one of the most popular applications that we see now is the ChatGPT, which is the regenerative artificial intelligence, and that is something that learns from itself. So, it goes into a corpus of a lot of database and background information, and when you ask it the right questions, of course the questions have to be framed correctly, it pops up an answer within seconds. It has changed, of course, a lot of lives, including mine also. I mean, I usually write a lot of letters of recommendations, and I used to spend like 30 minutes per letter. But now it's so easy, I just give it the key points of a person's profile from the CV, and it generates its own letter of recommendation. But then there is a human touch, because then I go and read that letter and I go and correct it, specific to the person that I know. So that I think is already going to make a lot of difference. It already has made a difference. It is not only taking away jobs, but it is also creating new jobs at the same time. And then obviously it just continues on, and these applications are being used in almost every single technology that you could think of, whether it is defense, whether it is health, whether it is academics. It's being used very, very strongly. There was one thing I did not mention in my portfolio also is the American Skills Evaluation Institute. That is a startup that we have just established in Houston, and that is basically focusing on skills to start off with. Because even though I'm a person who is a strong proponent of obviously having degrees and postgraduate degrees and PhDs, but as we move along in the real world, we are finding that now that as the half-life is becoming shorter, the skills are becoming more and more important. Because when a person joins an undergraduate program for a 4-year degree, you make up your mind, and by the time you graduate 4 years later, this is something I was telling you, half the scenario has changed. And the things that you have learned in your second year typically are already obsolete by the time you graduate. So now, you're looking at something that is coming up every now and then. So 3 months, 6 months, maximum 9 months to 1 year, skills that you learn are becoming far more important in the developing world than getting a degree, particularly at the bachelor's level. And now all the leading companies, especially the IT companies, whether it's Facebook, Google, Tesla, Apple, they do not even advertise. When they advertise for positions, they do not ask for degrees. They are asking for skills. So it really doesn't matter whether you have a degree. When you submit your CV, and of course again an AI-based system is reviewing tens of thousands of applications, finding the right keywords, which again is very important how you write your CV, because you have to make sure your CV includes all those searchable words that a human is not looking, but an AI-based system is looking and scanning your CV and shortlists you for the next level up. So skills are becoming more and more important, and your CV, especially those who are looking up, moving up the career level, has got to make sure that they have learned and acquired the right skills. So what we do at the American Skills Evaluation Institute is we are also using an AI-based system, because we have collected the corpus of tens of thousands of courses. Let's say there is a course of networking that is offered in maybe 10,000 different institutes around the world. So we have a data of all of that because everything is available online. And when somebody submits a certificate to us that he or she has done on networking, it immediately goes, it compares to the tier 1 institutes or academic institutions that offer similar courses, and then it tells you basically where your knowledge or your qualifications stand. It evaluates you and it auto-generates a certificate within a few seconds that gives you anything from 1 to 5 stars, whether you get 5 stars or 4 or 3. So this is literally the first phase of our development that, and the service of course is totally free at the moment. So you go online, you register under skillsevaluation.org and you get a free American Skills Evaluation Institute certificate. In the phase 2, of course, we will go into an accreditation phase, which is what I was also telling Dr. Mukhtar here, that we will be endorsing different institutes around the world, that how, in terms of, just like we do an accreditation with the accreditation institutions or the HEC does, so we will be evaluating not just the skills, but the institutes or the organization that is offering these skills. So that will be the phase 2. So that's just an example of how academics is using AI, and that is the American Skills Evaluation Institute.